Hey there, welcome back to another video, and this was a paid request from Business of Fear. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, topics, tier lists, rankings, whatever the case may be, video game playthrough, PayPal is the best way to do it. Do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and we will get to it as soon as we possibly can. For those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. And this was the other request for Business of Fear. And this is actually kind of humbling. I didn't think anyone would request this, but that's cool. So, if you're down on my Facebook, from time to time recently, I've been putting up these fan Raphael posters. I kind of created my own franchise, like this, called the City of War franchise. And I did like a little music video to the Seven Dust song, I Live Again. And it's on there. And pretty much what I do was I go on ChatGPT. There's a thing called Sora, S-O-R-A. And you go on there, and on the free one, you can only have certain images per day. I think you have to pay if you want to use video and stuff, but I'm not paying for it. So on images, you do like a prompt, and the AI will do its best to create whatever image you want. So I put, I can't remember the exact prompt, like make it look like a movie poster, Raphael the Ninja Turtle, he's standing, his arms at his sides, he's holding his size, there's many types of different punks and villains in the background of New York City, and things are on fire. Like, you're trying to describe it, and you put, the movie title should be City of War. The tagline should be. And I try to do that for each of these, and AI still has a ways to go on that front, because sometimes things go a bit wonky, and you have to fix it, because sometimes like Raphael could be holding a weapon that's not what you prompted, or the weapon will be this way, or you say tagline, but it'll put the tagline twice, or even though you put the title, it'll misspell the title. So sometimes you have to do a couple tries. But it's been fun to do it and just see. I would just think of stuff out of the blue. I wasn't really having a big cohesive plan. I'm just wondering, how many movies can I think of just randomly? Just Raphael is one of my favorite characters of all time, and since he'll never get his own movie, I figure why not just make posters? Like, my dream franchise. And City of War, of course, is a reference to one of the Ninja Turtle comic book stories. In that case, it was, the Foot Clan and other punks, the Purple Dragons, trying to take over New York City, and the Turtles have to kind of deal with stuff. There was Karai, the Foot Clan. So to me, it was just... And funny enough, this is around the time I was playing the Warriors PlayStation 2 game. So the Warriors was on my mind. So that's where the background was inspired. And the tagline, of course, is from the Warriors, from the movie. Armies of the night. They could run New York City, but tonight one turtle stands in their way. So I didn't really have like a story plan for these. It was just, I love to see a Raphael story, and instead of called Raphael City of War. That's a good title for a movie. City at War. I kind of like, well, what if his brothers, I don't know where his brothers are at, his brothers, I don't know, they're off at home just relaxing. Raphael goes out like he usually does. He has these anger problems. I always think of Raphael as the guy that is the one who is the most conflicted of being what he would think a freak of nature. That he would be the guy that would want to have a normal life. Maybe a wife, maybe kids, maybe all that stuff, but he can't. So when you have that taken away, you'd be a bit pissed, and you're alone, and takes it out on his family. He doesn't want to. I always loved the story. That was the Raphael one-shot, which was also adapted in the 2003 cartoon, Meet Casey Jones. That he's sparring with his baby brother Mighty, and one day Mikey keeps pushing and pushing and pushing, and Raph loses it and almost hits him with a pipe, and his other brothers in the cartoon, it was Leonardo, stops him, and he freaks out, and he's like, what the hell am I doing? And he runs off, and that's when he meets Casey Jones and other stuff. So, but I always thought that's such a very serious, dubious moment of one's life, almost killing your own brother, that would also create a lot of angst and anger, and he'd take it out on himself and take it out on these motherfuckers as well. So that'd be a reason why you want to be by himself. He feels like he doesn't deserve his family. He feels like he doesn't deserve anything. Just like, he's a guy who has a lot of heartache, and I think that's why I always picture him and Rambo together. Not just because they start with an R and an A, not just because in the second film Rambo had a red headband. Here Raphael's a red mask. Not only because Rambo carries a knife, he carries a sai, small sharp implement, but I think in they're warriors in a way, not wanting to fight, but always looking in the middle of a fight. And the biggest war is within themselves. I find that very interesting character trait. A character has a big inner war with himself, that deep down they are a good person, but they don't think they are a good person, or they think they're messed up, and they want to be loved, like we all want to be loved, but at the same time, there's a lot of anger and angst in there, and it could create a lot of drama, it could create a lot of interesting character moments, as well as perhaps a lot of kick-ass action, just like the first 4 Rambo films, and among other stuff. So, I just picture that Raphael, he went out, maybe after that event I mentioned with Mikey, maybe he's out there, instead of meeting Casey Jones, he's out there, and lo and behold, this one when the Punks and the gangs decide to unite and take over New York. There's an explosion, maybe it collapses some of the sewers, so that's why his brothers can't get out. They're safe, they're just trapped in the lair, and until they get out, they can't reach Raph. So Raph is by himself, and either he's staying by or he's going to help. And despite, his angst, he sees people in trouble, maybe as a way to make amends for what he did to his brother, what he almost did to his brother, or maybe he thinks his baby brother for some reason looks up to him and he doesn't think he deserves that, but now he's going to find a way to deserve that praise. However you want to work into the story, I haven't really thought, I'm just talking out of my ass on this. I just wanted to make some cool posters. But just Raphael, like he was in Streets of Rage. Streets of Rage the movie or something, just Raphael, Double Dragon the movie, the Warriors, just Raphael beating the shit out of everybody. All the different gangs, Raphael's in the middle, high-octane action and fight scenes, like The Raid, Redemption, only it really would be, unlike what Kevin Eastman said about that Michael Bay-produced Ninja Turtle film, because there was an interview when that film was coming out, the one Michael Bay produced, the 2014 movie, and Kevin Eastman's like, "We're going to have fight scenes like The Raid, Redemption, and Jet Li's Fist of Legend," and I'm like, Kevin Eastman, you really talked out of your ass, didn't you? Because you were either full of shit, you were lying your ass off, or someone lied to you. So. And so the next one, I'm like, okay, that all settles. New York is calmed down. It's trying to rise up from the gangs. Raphael kicked a lot of ass, took a lot of names out. And now he needs the rest. But since all those gangs are taken out, who can take over? Maybe Shredder, Bebop, Rocksteady, some other mutants, a bit of Leatherhead there, some ninjas. I'm like, okay, the first one he fought to save his city. Now maybe, while Raphael's healing, maybe they have some nice brotherly moments. The other 3 go out. They either go missing or they get taken or hostage or kidnapped, and then Raphael has to go kick some ass again. They went after his family. This time, it's personal. I mean, that's a classic tagline that's been done 100 times, but I really like the way this turned out. This is actually one of my favorites because I put the prompts in, and I mean, I love the way they got everybody there. The three on top. I love the city in the background. So the armies of ninjas. I like the red. Because I didn't tell it to have a red font. It just did it that way. So sometimes it's a bit of luck with how these turn out. And this one, I thought was one of my favorites. I like the way Raphael looks. So yeah, even here, I like the way he looks. It's a great stance. Same, and then this, you see like the muscles a little bit more defined on the face, and here, a little bit more smoothed down on the face, but I still like the look of it. So I thought that turned out very well. And he goes, kicks their ass. Saves his family, kicks his ass. So I'm like, I don't know, what would the third film be? Okay, the tagline I thought of Rambo 3. He fought for, the first time was, how did the tagline went? I forgot. I already forgot what the hell it was. I wrote it down. But I'm like, okay, the first was, I know it was like, this time it's for his friend. That's what it ended with. Like maybe the first was for himself, the second was for his country, now it's for his friend or something like that. So I'm like, the first it was for his city, the second was for his family. There's got to be some kind of city. And there's a lot of sci-fi in Ninja Turtles. I mean, you read the early comics. Very early on, the aliens called the Utroms got involved. And the secret of the ooze and the TCRI and where they came from and how the ooze came to be. And then they got into space. Like, that was very early on in the Ninja Turtle comics. So sci-fi is actually a big part of these characters. Of their early merit. And I figured, yeah, you gotta go bigger. You gotta go bigger. So, he fought the gang members and he fought the Shredder and Bebop Rocksteady. Now, kick some alien ass. I mean, I'm just like, okay, what could be different? Like, the color scheme, very dark, orange, dark and black. So how about blue? How about like a blue futuristic city? And I said, like, different kinds of aliens. And it gave, like, these different, like, weapons, but, knives and whatever. You gotta go kick their ass. And then I'm just having fun. I'm like, okay, he fought the city, he fought the Shredder, he fought the aliens. What's next? The demons. Can it just be typical demons? Okay. Always wanted an actual Evil Dead 4. I know some say Ash vs. Evil Dead, the TV show, but I'm not big on the TV show. I wanted an actual Evil Dead 4. So, thought it'd be City of War 4. In this case, I had said for Ash to have a chainsaw hand, but the AI didn't quite know how to do that. So it just had Ash holding the chainsaw. Well, if you know Evil Dead, he doesn't have a hand. So I didn't know how to work that with AI, so then I'm like, okay, you could do this thing called remix, where you could take the same, but then I'll go, well, what would you like to change of this? It doesn't always work out, but I go, okay, how about Ash have a metal hand? Because he does have that from Army of Darkness. So it was just a regular hand, but I was able to change it to a metal hand, so at least it would make more sense. But I wanted him to have in the hand, the chainsaw hand, but AI didn't quite know how to do that. Now I said I wanted a boomstick in his hand, but I guess somehow it also said Raphael should have a boomstick in his hand, and also like the Raphael, is like sometimes his fingers, fingers are added. Sometimes it's hard to get those details in, but I'm like, oh, whatever. This is just for the fun and giggles. I'm like, okay, he's got to take place in a new place. Why not Hollywood? Since Hollywood burning anyway. Have a burn from hell. And you got the class. You got Leatherface, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger. The guy with the white eyes that wanted to be evil Ash. So the white eyes aren't the best because they didn't know how to do that. So I just added the white eyes in there. But kind of like the white eyes, dead by dawn. So that's supposed to be evil Ash. I added characters, but then it just decided to pop like this guy. I don't know who he is, so I just figured he just is like a zombie. This is like an evil clown. Like, evils of, evil may rise and darkness may fall, but they must hail to the teen's baby. I just wanted that hail to the teen baby in there. So maybe like, after City War II, and he did all this stuff with Shredder and them, his family is alive and at home, and somehow or another he needs to take a break from something happens, and then that's how he got on the alien world. And maybe there's some kind of big fight argument, and then he's gone to California. He needs to be away. He needs to go off on his own. He's got a lot of shit to deal with. He's been doing a lot of kicking ass and taking names. And in California, maybe Ash is there because another, store opened up, and he was made to go there. Somehow the Necronomicon got open, and all these fools are now going across and making California hell on earth, and eventually these two get together, and one's got his boomstick, one got his fistful of yin, ready to kick ass, take names. So I do like this poster. I like the way it turned out. I like the way Ash looks. I think that's very cool. I didn't even do this on purpose, but Raphael, the way he's looking at Ash, I think that's a really cool pose. I just said, have them stand next to each other, but I thought that was cool that they did that. So sometimes you get lucky with AI. And then just going random. I'm like, okay, how about he fights zombies? Okay, Dead by Dawn, because Evil Dead 2 Dead by Dawn. What was the tagline for that? Kiss your nerves goodbye. Okay, what's the environment? How about, like in the cave, like The Descent? So maybe it's like an underground city. There's underground city, and then there's all these ghouls and all these zombies, and it's another city at war, but only it's the undead. It'd be the real army of the dead, not that shitty Zack Snyder film. Then I'm like, okay, what's something completely different? Sharks. I like Deep Blue Sea. I like the movie. We had underground, so now how about under the sea? How about underwater? So how about somehow, some way, with all this stuff going on in the first 5 movies, somehow he gets in like an underwater lab. Who knows, maybe he's caught, he's taken there, and they want to look at him, and he gets pissed off, and he gets out, and finds out they're doing these other experiments, and now he's got to join with other people with all these sharks. It pretty much is a take on Deep Blue Sea. How long can you hold your breath? That's a take on the tagline for Leviathan. So, and I'm like, okay, we're 7 movies in, so you gotta think, however long, how many years that could be within 7 movies. So I'm like, okay, a location we haven't been to. How about I forget. I think it was it Hong Kong or was it Tokyo? I forget where this was. Hong Kong. I want to say, for some reason I want to say Hong Kong. But I'm like, okay, let's have a futuristic. Let's be a little bit futuristic. Fight the future. Just think of taglines that sound familiar, that roll off the tongue. So Fight the Future. It was from X-Files, the first good movie. And the Omega Syndrome, there was a movie called that. I think that's a good title. It's not that great of a movie. It has Ken Wall in it, but that was a good title, the Omega Syndrome. What does that mean? So there's, they have this army of robots, and he's over there visiting because he wants to get away from the U.S. because he's kicked everybody's asses under the ground, under the water, in New York to L.A. I need to get out of the States. Even then. He's like the John McClane. He's the right guy at the wrong place at the wrong time. He's always that guy. So that's kind of how it became So he was fighting robots. Then he goes to Miami, because why not go to Miami? We're still in that futuristic place. I should have said 7, the New Blood, but I'm like, that'd be obviously Friday the 31st, 7, the New Blood. So I put it at this, the New Blood. Live Free or Die Hard. I always thought that was a good title. And it also works for as a good tagline as well. So maybe this is kind of like a take on perhaps like Invasion USA. Only they're invading Miami. So there's all these like terrorists and mercenaries invading it. Thus the New Blood. They feel like they need to take over. There needs to be a new world order. So they take over Miami, and he's the wrong place. He's at the wrong place at the wrong time, and they gotta deal with him. So it's okay. It's just to try and find like different villains, and then I just like put them in whatever movie or other situation. So after all the chaos he's caused on Earth, he's gotta go into space for a bit. So. Because they've been, like I said, they've been in the space. There's the character, the Fugitoid, and other places. There was, I know a bit in the comic where it was like a take on, like the Star Wars Cantina. And eventually, maybe he gets in touch with one of them, or vice versa. Maybe someone up there, Fugitoid or whatever, finds out what the hell Raphael's been doing. It's like, hey, you know what? I've heard good things about you. You seem to be making a name for yourself, man. Come, join us. And then he gets into all sorts of crazy shit up there. So here, the Xenomorphs. I wanted to see him with a pulse rifle. I kind of wish it did it where it was like more this than this, but I didn't know how to work that in order to tell it exactly what the prompt. At least it'd be a good alien film with the Resurrection name on it. And of course, I mean, you gotta go with Doom. I mean, it's the 10th film. Seems like a big, momentous occasion to get to a 10th. I like the Roman numeral stuff. I mean, a lot of movies don't really use Roman numerals anymore. I mean, Friday the 13th did for a bit until part 8. Rocky did until part 5, but I think because the Roman numeral, the longer it goes, it may seem more and more ridiculous. But I kept it there because I like that. The Angry Video Game Nerd would approve because I know he would like that kind of thing. But I figure, I mean, I like the video game Doom, so somehow let Doom be a part of it. He's in space. There's the Xenomorphs, maybe someone gets to Mars, and when he gets to Mars, then it goes to Earth, and him battling the Doom creatures. Maybe he's the Doom Slayer, I don't know. It'd just be like a pretty big kick-ass movie. I especially like the way this turned out here, the Keiko Demon. I tried to put the other ones there, they didn't quite do, except maybe this one. But you just think of it like other demons and stuff in there. I think it's hard for the AI to get specifics on what certain things are. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? I like Tremors. Let's have him in that. Have it be near Vegas. Aftershocks, of course, for Tremors 2 Aftershocks. They say there's nothing new under the sun, but under the ground. It didn't quite know what the hell graboids were. So I'm like, okay, just do the next best thing. Have it like creatures in the sand and they come out of the dirt. So, which is fine. So it's not quite Tremors, but it's inspired by it. I figure let it be like Vegas because you're still in the desert and, it's a different city. So I have a different look. Maybe it'll be Val and Earl over there. And Burt Gummer. Primal Species, which I always say I would rather watch this in Jurassic World Rebirth. So maybe there's some kind of jungle, some kind of place out there, and a lost world, and which I mean, there is a point where the turtles actually do deal with dinosaurs, even in not just the comics, but in the 2003 cartoon. there's a bit where, because of this girl Renee, I think it's because of her, like they're thrust back in time or through different times. At one point, they're in the time of the dinosaur, and I think Raphael actually does like kick a dinosaur in the face, because Raphael was badass in the 2003 cartoon. So I just want to see him do a kick and kick a raptor in the face. Who doesn't? It's like when someone did that fan, I forget who it was. There's this fan thing on YouTube where this guy kind of knows how to take actors and put them in different scenarios. So he made it where it looked like Jean-Claude Van Damme kicked a dinosaur in the face. I forget the damn name of it. Dinosaur Hunters or something generic like that. But yeah, I mean, it's really cool just to see visually. The story and the dubbing is there, but the way he visualizes and puts like Stallone and Arnold and all these people amongst like dinosaur Jurassic Park like type of it's pretty cool. Like Rambo killing dinosaurs, it's just very cool visually how the guy was able to do that. At the very least, so that was also an inspiration. Primal Species, that was taken from Carnosaur 3 Primal Species, which deserves a Blu-ray. So where's City of War 12? 13, this because like Alan Stanley, very nice guy, who requested Manhunt, the game, and he made another request, which I'll get to down the road. Thank you for that. I did this for him. He's, oh man, it'd be cool to see something from Manhunt. I'm like, okay, I'll see what I can do. So I kind of have maybe some of the characters from Manhunt, and then I'm like, okay, well, have like a guy with a smiley face mask and trying to describe it and have it be like the video game Manhunt. I like the color scheme it made with this. I like the darker grit color scheme. And I didn't tell it to do that, but just because I said make it seem like Manhunt or the atmosphere, it kind of came up with this. Because you see how brighter these are, and then you see just the different... And this is where I also started doing the have them be bloody. Have them be like bloody or bloody and bruised. To seem as if, you know, this stuff is taking a toll on Raffy Boy here. And it's like, why not give him a shotgun? Why not? Just have to find a way for him to fit his finger in the shotgun, but of course, take on hard target. But Manhunt, don't hunt what you can't kill. Because I love the game Manhunt, and I think that'd be cool if Raphael starred in that. That'd be a nice crossover. That'd be interesting. Maybe, you know, someone, or there's some secret thing in some city, because this is getting more and more in the future, because now we're at number 13. Even if they're one per year, that's 13 years, it's pretty far in. And, you know, what, maybe there's someone who's heard what Raphael's been doing, and let's get him as the next contestant. I'll tell you one thing, this would be better than the Running Man remake coming out. Then, hey, 14, I did one with Xenomorphs, right now Predator. Now, granted, the mistake is the blood would not be red, because we all know Predator does not have red blood. But I guess there could always be something else he's hunting as well. It's not just there that are the Predators, there's other things there. It was kind of hard for the AI to kind of get the hint of put blood on the axe, but make it green, but then it'll make the axe green or stuff, so I'm like, okay, just make it bloody, and you just assume there's other things, not just the Predators, but you see them in the back there. But it's interesting, like, see, I'll take a picture and be like, okay, take this picture but remix it, but you see how, like, each Raphael face is a bit different, like, he's a bit, like, trying to bulkier there. Then he's like a bit taller, and then he's a bit shorter. His face, his eyes is a bit different. I didn't tell it to do that, so that's what I mean. Sometimes it could kind of do whatever it thinks, but hey, people do change. So I guess you think of like this guy, sometimes he bulks up, sometimes he slims down, sometimes, you know, as movies, he changes. People change in the matter of 14 movies. If it bleeds, he can kill it. He being Raphael. Because, yeah, if he's done all this, then yeah, if it bleeds, he could kill it at this point. Of course, I thought, man, it'd be cool to have him in a futuristic prison. Because I thought, okay, a regular prison setting, but since we're pretty far in the future, how about a futuristic prison setting? And I like both of these posters, so I just put both of them up. The left one, I would say I like the background more. But the right one, I like the stuff with the fires and stuff. So it could be like, they both happen. So earlier on, these guys are trying to go after him, and near the end of the film, how everything's on fire and stuff. He's bloodied up. He's got the baseball bat. Escape from Butcher Bay, of course, from the video game, which I love the video game. I think that video game is great. I actually basically want to play the video game again right now. I love Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay. And I said kind of take place in a prison, and I said prisoners and guards go after Raphael. And that's who they interpret it as. And it's interesting how it had those two different type of interpretations from a similar prompt. Take no prisoners just seemed like, just seemed like the right kind of tagline would be for this kind of movie. Moontrap, I mean, I love the film Moontrap with Walter Koenig and Bruce Campbell. I thought, you know what, how'd be cool to see him like a spacesuit? And plus I was thinking like Riddick on the brain, so I'm like, okay, if he has Steve for Butcher Bay, what about if he was in a movie like Pitch Black? So, you're not afraid of the dark, are you? And he has a spacesuit. I thought they actually made him look really good in a spacesuit. I was actually surprised at the way this looked. I think it's a really cool looking spacesuit. I like the moons. I don't think I even mentioned that there were two moons, but that was a cool, nice surprise. The two moons. And then the creatures, I said like the movie Pitch Black, but it didn't know what that was, so, oh well. More creatures. You have a city in the backdrop. Stick with the City of War. A little bit of mentality there. Number 16. This I put in there just because I like the Callisto Protocol. Since we're in this kind of like sci-fi, Predator, then Future Prison, then Moon, one has these duels. Plus I wanted to see Raphael hold that kind of stun baton nightstick that was in Callisto Protocol. I don't like the DLC. I think it ruins the game. But I do like the game. I do want to play that game again sometime. But yeah, I like the Callisto Protocol, so I just wanted to put him in that. This is a fun one because I'm like, okay, I just want to see him with an M60, and that's the M60 they came up with. And I'm like, I said like the kill boss from Chopping Mall, that was his best representation. So it's not quite like it, but, how about like in a mall? I just wanted Raphael in a mall and, zombies in a mall. I just wanted to be a bit different. So, hey, how about the robots in a mall? So Chopping Mall. Chop till you drop. I just imagine like after all this, he just wants a break. He just wants a fucking break. Maybe it's Christmas time. Should have made it Christmas time. He finally wants to go home to see his family after all this, and lo and behold, these fuckers are in the way, and he's can't stand anymore, and he's gonna be in the chopping mall. It's just like fun ideas, not super serious. I mean, we're at number 18 now. Just fun. You know when movies were fun? Fun. Just fun. So I'm like, okay, how about, the Decepticons? One shall stand, many will fall. So yeah, give them a big laser gun. What do you do for number 20? Why not Dimension X? Why not introduce Dimension X? So I try to have like Crane, and you kind of do with the brains here, the Crane in them, and the Technodrome. This is what I thought the Technodrome was. And I typed in the Wildy Magnum because I wanted to be like the gun from Death Wish 3. And that's what I thought the Wildy Magnum was. So I figured why not take place in DC, because we haven't had DC. And why not bring like something familiar, somewhat familiar from the Ninja Turtle ethos for number 20, So on that journey to Dimension X, they invaded. Big mistake. Which of course that's a reference to Last Action Hero. Big mistake. Also, yeah, I was thinking of Independence Day and stuff as well. So it's like different aliens from Dimension X, and in particular the Crane, like the what you call. Well, the good guys in the comics were called the Utrons, but then you had Crane, who was the big bad guy in the 80s Ninja Turtles cartoon. It didn't quite do the Technodrome, but this is the movie version of the Technodrome. And I like this because I like that it's right behind them, so it makes it feel epic. And you got the Capitol building there. But here, I like how some of the creatures are, and this thing between his legs, you see. So that's why I put both. I like both of them. I thought it'd be cool to see him with a bow and arrow with Steve from New York. I love what it did here. That I said have him be bloody and bruised, but they put this blood around his eye. I thought that looked really, really cool. I like that the font is like Steve from New York. Because I said, oh, have it be like a feel of a Steve from New York, and it did. So I like the bow and arrow. And hey, Steve from New York is a classic, so hey, have him go back to New York, and things are getting a little bit more crazy. Because it's been a while since he's been there. And after that, somehow he gets into the multiverse, because everything's about the fucking multiverse. So you get to 22, he don't take the multiverse by storm. So I'm like, okay, well, what could I do? How about instead of just the Marvel Zombies, which the Marvel Zombies is a very interesting comic. Maybe like somehow after New York, or I actually let me redo that. Journey to Dimension X. So we're at Dimensions now. He succeeds, and he thinks he wins the day. His family helps out. He succeeds. He jumps through the portal, and he thinks he's back in New York. His family is, but then Raphael realizes he's in a different New York. He's in a different New York. He's in a different dimension. And this is why he's got his teeth from New York, because this way we could keep that what he did in New York in the first couple movies actually mattered, and it's a better place. So it doesn't seem like it didn't seem like it meant nothing. And then because we're Dimension X, now we're going through dimensions. Change it up a bit. So he's got Steve from New York. And maybe he's got to do this, and then we find out why is New York such a mess in the first place. So he's trying to stay from New York. He's dealing with the bad guys there, and then someone goes, oh my god, they're coming. Who? They are coming. The Marvel Zombies. And that's why New York is in this dimension so crazy, because of the Marvel Zombies, and thus why he still has the bow and arrow. This is a sequel to Steve New York. So it's still New York, but he's got to escape from the Marvel Zombies. Now, I tried to say, have Daredevil and other stuff, but for some reason it made, a different Spider-Man. But, hey, maybe this is Miles Morales. I'll just say that's Miles Morales. But Captain America, Hulk, Wolverine. You think that's, I don't know, Captain Marvel, whatever. I think this is supposed to be kind of like Daredevil. But hey, dealing with, Marvel, the zombies. I think that'd be cool. Raphael fighting the Marvel Zombies. I'd be down for that comic. He goes to another dimension, and now he gets to work with the other superheroes, but this time he's working with them. It's a new dawn for justice. So I tried to say other DC villains, but I didn't quite do that. So yeah, a bit of Bane here. Lex Luthor, Joker, there's supposed to be Doomsday. And then I said other villains, but then I just had a bunch of bald guys and a different kind of Bane. But I think maybe, maybe these Lex Luthor clones. I don't know what the story is, but I just think that'd be cool if... Because, Raphael has met Batman in the comics. There's multiple comics where Batman meets the Ninja Turtles, and one of my favorite moments... that for some reason they didn't have in the Batman vs. TMNT movie, which is stupid they didn't, because I thought it was one of the best parts of the comic, is Batman showing Raphael where Batman's parents died. And Raphael sees this, and this is where he's like, starts to realize that maybe his shit ain't as bad as he thinks it is. It's a very humbling moment for Raphael. It was a very important moment. So I don't know why they didn't do that in the movie. Just like, oh, I thought that was one of the better parts of the comic. And there's multiple comics, so this actually would kind of fit. This is one of my favorites. I just thought, I'm thinking of like the Mighty Ducks, and there's that cartoon. So I'm like, what if there was like a world where like the Ducks, like there's different teams, and you think of the movie The Mighty Ducks. Well, what if it's actual ducks as the Mighty Ducks, but they're a murderous hockey team? And I think of the Van Damme film Sudden Death. Terror goes in overtime. I like the blood splotches. I love the hockey stick. I think the way these guys turned out. This is one of my favorite posters of this. This would be like, I want to see this film. I want to see this film. I really do. Apparently this fly does too. Get out of here, fly. Get the hell out of here. This, I kind of put it where maybe this is another dimension. Only his three brothers, there are the turtles, but they're this kind of, get out of here, fly. God, fucking fly. Trying to fuck up my goddamn video. Missed him, but I'll get that fucker later. Anyway, as I was saying, like, I tried to, like, what if they were, like, vampires type of thing, or possessed? So, blood brothers. Or, it doesn't even have to be another dimension. It could be, he comes back, he's been going through all these dimensions, then he finds out that maybe his brothers were looking for him, and they were in Tokyo, and they somehow get possessed, or they're vampires. So, he's finally got back home, but now he's got to save his family, and he's got to fight his family. So family can make you or break you. 25 blood brothers. So you got to fight his brothers, not get killed by them in Tokyo, but also find a way to fix what's going on. Again, whether they're possessed or they're vampires, however you want to put it, he's got to stop it. Didn't quite get the weapons. I wanted this to be nunchucks, but I made some weird thing here. But the idea is this is supposed to be Leo, Mikey, and Donnie. It didn't quite know how to do that, but I do love this pose with the baseball bat. I think this is a fantastic. The blood dripping off the bat. I love the look of Tokyo. So this stuff I thought was cool, and this stuff I thought looked still kind of neat too, and how they're hovering over him. I do like that. I just wanted to put him in Mortal Kombat. And you got, Liu Kang, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, kind of Goro, Raiden, Lord Raiden, Shang Tsung, Reptile. I mean, there were multiple Sub-Zeros and other people, so there you go. I just wanted him in Mortal Kombat, just because. This is because I was playing Resident Evil Village of Shadows. I'm like, it'd be cool to have Raphael in there. Cool that it has kind of this different look to it, too. This different type of artwork. Not done on purpose, but I liked it. And this, by the time I got to this, I'm like, you know what? I really like the character Usagi. Miyamoto Usagi, some call him. I know he has like a different first name. But I like this character, and I like the idea of these two joining forces and working together. I'm like, you know what? How about like make them like a team? And so eventually, again, whether Usagi is visiting and him and Raph kind of unsure, because Usagi is usually friends with Leonardo. But then they kind of, after this event here, I didn't whether this is an Usadi's dimension or another dimension or here, wherever. It's a way they're trapped in a police station. I didn't saw in Prison 13. I love that movie. The original is a classic. I like the idea of these two working together. And through that event, they become a team. So I think like this is like on Usadi's world. And maybe like Usadi helps Raph here, so Raph helps Usadi here. That tagline is based on the one from Lethal Weapon. The bad guys don't stand a chance. So that's what it's based on, is the War of the Worlds. I mean, it's called War of the Worlds. The tagline is based on Lethal Weapon. I'm like, okay, what 30? How do you get to 30? How about Shredder comes back? Is this like demonic Super Shredder? You have these, it's over Earth. The Shredder wants to destroy not just the city, like in Part 2, but the whole Earth. This one, I try to be like a Armageddon. There's this character in the comics is like this shark. It didn't quite do that, so maybe it's like the movie version of it. Armageddon, and then like Cyber Foot Clan, and like the Super Shredder. Because you don't want a Shredder to come back all the time, so Shredder's been dead since Part 2. Now he comes back, only this time no man, no foe, no war can stop them. Them being these two. So these two become like an unstoppable team. And then, this is, around Christmas time. Because AVP Requiem was around Christmas time. They're in town with a few days to kill. So this is the actual, not this deep New York, but actual New York, which is safe. But Alien and Predator, Raph dealt with aliens, predators, the both of them. What if it was the both of them? What if they were in the middle of a battle in New York, and Usagi and Raph? Deadliest of the Species was a comic series of Alien vs. Predator. Of course, that title is from Predator 2. This, I like the idea, like, what if somehow these guys have to deal with people who have superpowers, so these two would be the ultimate underdogs. No powers, all hero. Meaning you don't have to have superpowers to be a hero. So I like the idea that these two working together, and even though they have no powers, kind of like I never seen the show. I know they're not exactly heroes, but The Boys. There's that TV show, The Boys. I've heard of, I haven't seen, but it's a group going after these people who are superheroes, or maybe not quite heroes. They're not as good as people think they are, and that's kind of the idea. Is like that show, The Boys. So. And plus I had seen that movie, Transformers Age of Extinction. I'm like, I like that title, Age of Extinction, just not for Transformers. So I put it with this. And this, this is one of my favorite posters. You know what film this is inspired by? The Raid Redemption, or even Dread. When there's nowhere left to run, you fight or die. I don't know where this takes place, but I like the idea that these two are in a building and it's head to toe. And if I had like of this, like my top 3 favorite posters, this would be it because of the poses. I love the way this building looks and the bad guys all around. I love the poses with both of these guys looking, just different from the others. And both of them were bloodied up. Tower of Death. Which I was put Game of Death, but Tower of Death was another title. Was it another title for Game of Death? Or was it the Game of Death 2? I forget now. I know this is long. But this is for... Trust me, I know Business of Fear. You're normally the only one watching this far. So, hey, why not? Game of Death 2. Yeah, that's okay. So, that's what I thought. So I was thinking, no, it wasn't. But yeah, this is I love this. And then I added like a couple more. You know, hey, why not Blade? Of course, the tagline's from Blade 2, and they all fight Dracula and the vampires. And I just assume these are weapons that Blade, he was able to get from Blade, because the size quite can't cut it from Dracula and the vampires and the Blood Red Moon. So I like the idea of them working with Blade. They are the Night Stalkers. Tell you one thing, this would be a lot better than Blade Trinity. Like, this is the Blade Trinity I want to see. That's the Blade Trinity I want. That's the Trinity. Not Ryan Reynolds and Jessica, whatever the fuck, Biel? Albert Biel, right? This is the Trinity. This would just be goofing off since they want to do Doomsday so badly. I'm like, okay, how about a sequel? How about a sequel to Deadpool and Wolverine, but it has these two in it? So it could be like Deadpool and Wolverine 2, or, you know, City of War 35 now, but Doomsday. That's supposed to be Doctor Doom. And honestly, if this was the cast of Avengers Doomsday, I would see the fucking film first day. This right here is a better cast for Doomsday than all those fucking chairs for 50 or however fuck minutes it was. Oh, here's the guy who plays Shang-Chi. Here's the people with Thunderbolts. No one gives a fuck. But if they put out a poster of this, people, what the fuck? Raphael? Who? And then Deadpool Wolverine? What the fuck? And they're going... People would be more excited by this than all those fucking chairs. I shit you not. This, I was inspired by The Last Ronin. So, you know, it's been a while since Raph has, you know, talked with his brothers. So maybe during that time... Again, either A, you could look at this as he went to another dimension again, or I look at it as like B, something happened with Mikey. We don't know what. Obviously, he's not a take on The Last Ronin, because in The Last Ronin, all the other turtles are dead. And obviously, Raph isn't dead. But maybe something else happens, but Mikey goes in that direction, and so Raph's got to figure out what happened to his brother, and also involves... It was supposed to be the bad guy that's in The Last Ronin, but this is how they interpret it. So I'm like, okay, it works fine. So it's not actually The Last Ronin, but oh well. Two brothers, one fate. Because I like the idea, like, the first movie, it was, you know, because what he almost did to Mighty, but then he went on this whole journey, and now Mighty's in this, and now Raph has to figure it out, and maybe he's the only brother to figure it out. That'd be kind of a nice full circle. And funny enough, that was the last one I did. So in a way, that does give a bit of a full circle. So maybe Mighty, in a weird way, wanted to be like Raph. And this is his way of being like him. But then Raph's like, no, don't be like me. Be like yourself. Or maybe, you know, something happened and he wants revenge on this guy. But then, again, I don't know. I don't have a damn story. I just thought these posters would look cool. So, there you go. But yeah, will I do more? I don't know, because I kind of ran out of ideas. So at this point, I won't do any more, because I really ran out of ideas. But I like how, you know, it became, you know, from Raph to Raph and Usagi. I think that just seems like a cool team. And who knows from there, so. But yeah, Sora, S-O-R-A, from ChatGPT. Hey, if you guys ever do movie posters or Raphael Ninja Turtles, let me know. I would love to see them, whether on Facebook or whatever, and see what you guys come up with if you do that kind of thing. So, here you go. Thanks once again to BusinessOfFear for the request. Take care, everyone. I don't know if how many people would lasted this far, but there you go. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.